I have mostly been in the Pacific Palisades, which is a community of about 23,000 people right next to Malibu in between Santa Monica that is basically all gone. My dad lived there and was one of the many people who lost his home. So I've been just taking in that devastation and reporting from there today.
Yeah, I know you've been reporting on fires since 2017, but this assignment has been a really unusual and difficult one for you because you've had family who had to evacuate. Can you tell us a little bit about having that conversation with your father about his house being gone?
It was a very surreal, out of body experience, to be honest. I was just actually telling my family about it earlier today when I got back, or this evening. I was driving down Sunset, which is the main thoroughfare through this neighborhood in much of Los Angeles. And just on both sides of me were homes on fire. And the closer I got to my dad's home, the more homes were on fire. So I knew that his home probably didn't make it. But when I turned the corner, it was very hard to see. The smoke made it very difficult visibility wise, but I could see his car, and just his home was on fire behind the car. So I just kind of sat there for a moment, and I make these calls or tell people a lot when their homes are gone, or I take people back to their homes. But to, have it be my own dad and to make the call was a very strange moment for sure.
And these are places that you've spent a lot of time as well, right? I know that you've written about these mountains being places that you love to run through. To see that on fire, to be one of these people now caught up in it, must be a surreal kind of experience for you.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the first time I've experienced this. I grew up in Malibu, which is a community next to the Palisades. It's very fire prone. And I had to do this in 2018 with the Woolsey fire. So I really thought that was kind of a once in a lifetime event, and to just have to do it again, it just really shows the nature of how these wildfires can move, and just like no place just seems safe or off limits.
And of course, you've been reporting on the fire, and I know you've been speaking to other people who've been returning to their properties to inspect the fallout. What are they telling you? What's the feeling on the ground of these people coming back to such devastation?
Well, people have not been coming back yet. I mean, they're not allowed to. People have. They've been sneaking in. There's still very much active fire everywhere. Firefighters have yet to get a handle on the blaze. It's 0% contained. But to see it looks like Lahaina. I don't know if you covered that fire. I was there for that. And it just block after block after block after block of just rubble. And it looks like a war zone. And that unfortunately has become a very overused phrase when describing these disasters, but there is not much left of the town. So when you think of where are like 20,000 something people going to go, it's very monumental.
And with these multiple wildfires happening at once, I know resources have been really stretched. What have you been hearing about the ability of fire authorities to handle these kind of blazes at this time of year, when I know Australia would normally be sending assistance over there, and we can't because we're in the middle of our own fire season? How's it going resources wise?
Not well. Fire officials have been very frank that they are completely overdone, stretched to the limits. It's one of the things I've been reporting on. Currently, right now, there's another fire breaking out in the Hollywood Hills, and I listened to the fire radio. Firefighters from the Hollywood Hills are requesting Palisades firefighters to send some air assets if they can spare it. And firefighters were running out of water on both two major events on each side of the city, the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire. The Eaton fire is where the 5 people died. So there's just not enough people to go around, and listening to these firefighters 2 nights ago, I guess that was, time's a bit of a blur, maybe it was last night, just show up to streets that are all on fire and there's just nothing they can do. It was just really hard to hear that come in again and again.
And what are conditions expected to be like in the coming days? Do we have any idea whether those Santa Ana winds are going to ease?
We're hoping in less than 24 hours, and that will enable firefighters to get a line, a perimeter around. There's, I think, 4 or 5 blazes going on concurrently across the Los Angeles area at the moment. It's been difficult because of the winds. You can't deploy air crews, and so that really puts firefighters at a disadvantage yesterday. So when the winds die down, hopefully at some point tomorrow, that will give the crews an edge and hopefully get some containment here because all the fires are affecting very highly populated urban areas for the most part.